Hello everyone, Nick here at Scoggin-dickey. We appreciate you stopping by for another one of our weekly tech videos. And of course, we're going down the line covering different parts that you use when building the inside and outside of your LS engine. And today's video is actually going to be covering something that really doesn't seem to cost a whole lot of money, but man, do we get a lot of calls about it. And that has to do with the air bleeds in the corner of the cylinder heads. You can see them right here on this LS3 head I have flipped over. Now, this is actually quite a bit of a debate. You can find forums and Facebook posts and groups and stuff talking about how these need to be routed and whether you can block them off entirely. And so I'm here to tell you the different ways that they did it over the years from the factory, the different things that the aftermarket has caught on, and why it is necessary, because it is necessary to have it. So when they first came out with the LS engine in '97 with the C5 Corvette, and of course in '98 to '02 with the F-body Camaros and whatnot, they actually had a crossover that was like this, but it had a connection tube that went to two more in the back, and it fit in between the intake and the valley pan. They don't make this anymore. Unfortunately, once the LS6 intake manifold came out and it took up that gap in between the intake and the valley cover, that crossover had to be deleted, and so they finally went to where they put plugs in the back. They could look like this, or sometimes they were even rivets from the factory, and then this little trick piece here, it seals by bolting down on these and has one single outlet hose. And actually, they've been running this pretty much unmodified on cars and trucks through the entire LS generation, from '97 to essentially 2013, and even up with some of the 3/4 ton trucks still ran an LS engine even though the Gen 5 LT came out. And if you're swapping your engine and you're wondering why that's necessary and if you can block it off, maybe this will help you understand it. Think about a small block Chevy. Its intake manifold had a water crossover in the front with a thermostat housing, and that's where your upper radiator hose went off. The LS doesn't have that. Not only is it a reverse cooling system, it comes out of the water pump on both ends. The inlet outlet are on the water pump. It actually makes it a lot easier to swap if you think about it, but you can still get air trapped in the top of the cylinder heads. That is what this is for. On the small blocks and big blocks and older engines that had those water crossovers, sometimes in the back as well, that's what helped any air bubbles go up to the top of the thermostat, come over to the top of your radiator hose, and of course go out your radiator cap. You got to keep air out of your coolant system, or there's no point in having a boiling point. It'll boil over and overheat instantly. And some of y'all have probably experienced that. If you put an engine together, you can't burp the coolant to get all the air bubbles out. You fire it up and it instantly overheats. That's what you got. You got an air pocket somewhere in here. So if you block all four of those off, it's very, very difficult to get air burped out of that coolant system. There's some people that have done it. You're gonna find guys that claim, oh, I've done it and I don't have any issues. Yes, there are some people that have successfully done it, but God forbid something ever happens and coolant or air gets reintroduced to your coolant system somehow, then you have to find a way to get it back out of there again, and you can run into issues and engine damage. So it is kind of a big deal, even though these parts are really inexpensive. Now you can run this setup here. We still have customers that have high horsepower engines. They run the two block offs in the back. They run this crossover in the front and they're done. Or there are some more pretty trick setups out there actually that run 4 into a manifold housing and then 1 outlet there. That's an extra precaution for guys that really care about the perfection of a cooling system's efficiency. So we understand that if you want to run this, you want to run the aftermarket, it's entirely up to you. As long as you're bleeding it out somewhere, you'll be fine. For you guys that are swapping a vehicle, say you're putting one in a Vet, old Chevelle, Nova, Camaro, just a hot rod in general, who cares? You're wondering, where do I need to put this? Well, from the factory, this hose runs all the way to one of the side tanks on the radiator. Some swap radiators offer that, and that's actually pretty trick. They offer a little tiny nipple off the side. You just get a long piece of hose and connect it to this, and you're done, which is great. Sometimes though, you had a really high quality radiator already in your project, and you swap to this engine and you're going, oh, I have to buy another radiator? Well, you can. Or there's other ways to adapt it. We have seen people that have actually drilled and tapped the thermostat housing. It's a pretty good idea. There are also other people that have gone to ICT Billet and a couple other companies, and they actually have a little tiny butt connector where you can cut your upper radiator hose, put this in it, and it has a little tiny nipple in it to connect that as well. And that works pretty good too. So there are some options out there. Don't be too daunted by thinking, I gotta run this extra hose, I didn't want to run it. It can actually be done. It can actually be done pretty cheap, and it is important. We appreciate you guys stopping by for another one of our weekly tech videos. I know sometimes you guys want to see more videos about, Pro Charge big blocks or CNC cylinder heads or something really cool, but these are the basics and the simple stuff that can make or break a project. It'd be kind of silly to burn up a $9,000 LS3 crate engine because you just tried to block off a $20 part. So we do appreciate you guys stopping by for another one of our weekly tech videos. If you could, give us a like, a subscribe, and a share on both Facebook and YouTube. Spread this information around. We're here to help out hot rodders like you and me with all of our projects. And we will see you next Friday for another one of our weekly tech videos. Thanks for stopping by.